Hi guys. I've got an article coming out in May for the Signature magazine, and it might ruffle a few feathers. But it also can be very enlightening for those that are on a journey to, change their health, change their body composition. And it's addressing supplementation. So using supplements or even medical intervention to help you along the path. Now, I will be the first to say, if you can use supplements, any kind of medicines or something like that, that does not sabotage or sacrifice what your body naturally needs to thrive, then whatever, you do you, work smarter, not harder. I acknowledge that there are tools out there that can definitely help people get on the road or the path to where they need to be. But it doesn't need to be at the cost of their current health status, what it is. I think one of the biggest, hurdles for a lot of people whenever it comes to body composition changes, what they think of what is healthy, how they think that they need to get there, is that so many people focus on what they need to lose rather than what they need to gain. And I mean that in like the literal sense of like weight gain. I have always been like a champion of like, let's build your body, like build a fortress, build the foundation, make your body, you as a person, faster and harder to kill type of thing. Like you would be able to survive and you keep an able body and you can do things that is required of life. The problem with mainstream or our culture, our diet culture as it is today, is that there's so much focus on restriction, take away, don't eat, calories are the enemy, like instead of flipping the whole mindset around to how can I add to my body to allow it to do what I actually want it to do. Like people want a lean, athletic looking body. Now, I think a lot of people look at skinny like as like this badge of honor, when in my opinion, when people are skinny and they don't look like they can do activity, like I literally could like break them over my thigh, like that to me is just, that's not health. So I don't think of being skinny as a badge of honor. I know a lot of people that, that maybe they have more body fat on their body than, some fitness model on a magazine or Instagram or whatever, but they are very healthy individuals because they work out, they lift weights, they feed their body enough food. Yeah, sure, they probably could restrict some calories, but that doesn't necessarily make them feel good. And their genetic makeup allows them to have little extra body fat, or what I would say mainstream media tells us is excess body fat. So that gets to my next point of like, what does normal actually look like? I mean, we're told that the image of health is to see like ripped, shredded abs and muscles and stuff like that, when that's not necessarily the case. And it's going to be like that forever. Like we're always going to see these images of like, this is what we should look like, but then this is what 99% of the population looks like when they're doing, what they can do as far as exercise. I wish that that normal people would put themselves out there. Like normal people would say like, okay, I jiggle here. And when I bend over and, my pants roll and so does my stomach, like I've got skin, like that's normal stuff. And so, what happens with what our diet culture now tells us is that we need to be this skinny, no body fat, type of person, when that's not what measures your health, is, necessarily what you need to be focusing on. One thing that does determine what your longevity is and your health is lean mass. Lean muscle mass specifically. Lean mass includes like other things outside of body fat. So, when people are talking about losing lean mass over the course of decades as you age, it's not necessarily because of aging. Like, yeah, okay, there might be some aging processes, obviously. Like, I can't remember what the number is, but I think once you hit 30, it's like maybe 3% muscle loss for every decade. I could be totally wrong. I'll have to look that up. But anyways, a lot of studies say like you should expect to lose muscle mass, lean muscle mass, as each decade that you age. And now there's a lot of studies coming out that actually debunk that, because this is what happens when it comes to aging. When you're young, you're feeling really energetic, you don't necessarily need a lot of time to recover and rest. So naturally you're more active. You probably have more lean muscle mass because you are more active. But then as we age, get into middle age, wherever you're, working your, 9-to-5 job, you got kids, like all those type of responsibilities take away from your activity. And so therefore you move less. And so what happens when you move less? You're not using your muscles. And so again, here comes the line, if you don't use it, you lose it. So as we age, we get into this pattern of non-moving and non-building. Couple that or compound that with not eating enough of the right foods, specifically enough protein to sustain the actual lean muscle mass that you have when you're younger. Then you have this, 20-year, 30-year decline of health that you say is aging, but in reality, it's just the decline of your lean muscle mass because you become an immobile individual that can't do activity or, perform in life. And so a lot of things are coming out now, which is fantastic, that as long as you are, number one, eating enough protein to sustain your lean mass and feed it, and then also doing exercises that will keep it and maintain it as well as build it, then you shouldn't see this super sharp decline in your health span or the quality of your life and living as you get older, because you keep using it. And so therefore you don't lose it. If you take care of that lean mass throughout the decades of your life, then you should be able to live a quality of life and age gracefully, is like what I say. And so, just circling back to like what my original point was of this talk, was that a lot of people focus on losing weight. That's the goal. Like the only goal is to lose weight. And so then they start taking supplements to curb their appetite, or they take medicines that curb that appetite. And again, let me preface, like there's in some instances where yes, those things are necessary, because a lot of has to do with your mind and, your mental state and things that hormonal, things that are going on in your body that you may need some external help. But I'm saying for the majority of people, they hop on this bandwagon of using certain medicines and supplements to help tell them, their body, that they don't need to eat. And so then they have this period of time where you're under eating very, aggressively under eating, and then you lose this weight. Well, you have to ask yourself, what is this weight that you're losing? Because I know everybody thinks that they can trick their metabolism into just burning fat, and that's not how it works. You know, your body needs protein. It needs all the macronutrients to help sustain it. And so whenever you go into a very aggressive weight loss, a lot of times you're not losing majority of body fat. It's more like, you know, probably almost around 50-50 of losing lean muscle mass and body fat. And so therefore you're basically shooting yourself in the foot after that weight loss, because you just sabotaged and depleted one of the most important tissues on your body that is going to keep you young, vibrant, able-bodied, and burn energy. So metabolism is a whole nother discussion, but I've hit on this before, that your metabolism is not this thing. It's not this thing that's in your body that you can just turn a switch on. It is a system that controls what your body's doing and how it burns energy, down to what your cells are doing, to how you output energy, how you feel, what your hormones are doing. Like, it's all affected by what you do to it. And so therefore, if you take one of its major tools, like its big factors in how healthy your body is, and you basically slash it, in half, like, what do you think is going to happen? You lost weight. Congratulations. But you literally just shot yourself in the foot for like the next decade, because it's really hard to gain weight, like gain muscle, because you have to do very uncomfortable things like weight training and do enough that it facilitates that growth. And then you also have to remember that you have to eat enough to repair and grow those tissues. So, it takes a lot of focus. So your main goal in life, as far as your eating goes, should be, am I eating enough to sustain the already lean mass on my body? And then if I need to grow that lean mass, then I need to eat more to grow that lean mass. But sadly, that's not what we do. And so then we get caught in this vicious cycle of lose weight, gain more body fat, lose weight, body fat and muscle, never exercise to grow muscle, and then they end up putting on more body fat. And so then they just keep getting fatter and fatter and fatter. I'm not meaning that in a negative way. I'm just saying you keep accumulating body fat that you don't want, because you keep taking away your lean mass and not growing it and sustaining it. So that's why I have a problem with medicines that, do that. That trick your hormones into thinking that you're not hungry when you're under eating. I have an issue with that, because it teaches you nothing. And it makes it makes everything so much worse in the long run, because of what you lost. And because it doesn't protect your lean muscle mass. Now, if you can use supplements or medicines or whatever, and you eat enough to sustain that lean mass and not deteriorate your body, then great, wonderful, do it. I have no issues with it. But you need to know what you're doing. You need to understand how many calories your body needs, and you need to understand how much protein your body needs. You need to understand that you need to exercise to maintain that lean muscle mass. And if any medicine, if any supplement sabotages that, then it is a hard no, because it is not worth the cost. So, with my article that's going to be coming out for May, I dive into that. And again, it's my opinion, obviously, but it's my opinion based off of, 10 plus years of coaching and also training myself, learning from my own mistakes, and so I know it'll probably seem like a little bit of a upsetting, harsh maybe take on it, but at this point, I feel like people just need to hear that. Like, you don't realize what you're doing, and there needs to be more people like me or other doctors that are in trainers, coaches, whatever, need to educate people on how the body actually builds and loses weight and what that weight looks like. You know, so change your mindset around. I promise, if you focus on eating enough to recover, help your body recover from the day's activities, feed it enough to sustain its lean muscle mass, exercise in ways that are going to build lean muscle mass, you will get everything that you wanted. Everything. And I don't mean like magazine cover, okay? Like most people don't want to go to those extremes or do what those people have to do to get that lean. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the normal people. Talking about the everyday, you know, recreational type of athletes, you know, because whether you go to the gym or you play pickleball, you know, you need to have that fitness to, you know, do that every day. And that builds over years, not 3 months. So I guess I'll end that rant there, but I'm sure I'll do another video if you have any questions. So anyway, I'll leave it there. Bye-bye.